felt like I caught like the 97 to like 99, you know, like music and stuff. Like, what's his name? My God. Dang, what's his name?
What'd he do?
He's a rapper. Most Def. Most Def. So
Most Def and Talib Kweli.
Yeah, man. So like, woo. And then, you know, of course, you know, Trick Daddy and stuff, and Scarface, and I could keep going. You know, Ice Cube. Within like the late 90s, been in 2000s, like.
Yeah, like, you know, when we had that debate, like, you made me realize that there's a lot of classics. Especially, like I stated, you know, Pharrell and the Neptunes, they were dropping shit that was crazy, and they were all over the place.
Yeah, I feel like they're still underrated, though. Even from their last project they just dropped. What's it called? The one with Rihanna on it and all of them. Like, I still feel like, listening to that album, I was like, you know, the Neptunes, you know, a lot of people don't really talk about them when it comes to producers.
Right.
Like, they don't, even with Pharrell alone, like, they don't talk about him. You know, they'll talk about, you know, Dr. Dre's and, you know, the Jermaine Dupri's and things like that. But, like, they don't really talk about Pharrell. But I think the reason why is because Pharrell he's everywhere. Like, he could produce hip-hop, R&B, pop, everything. You know, so, so with the golden era in the 90s, do you think it was golden because of the different the different artists that came out of the, like, in all, like, you know, the Tupacs, the Biggies,
maybe,
you know,
you had
the Spice Girls, that you like, you know what I'm saying?
That's not hip hop.
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm trying to keep it also overall, but mostly, all right, but we could keep it hip hop.
I mean, hip-hop, I mean, yeah, you had, like, Common.
Yeah.
I just remembered, fucking love Common. You know, things like that. I mean, I don't know how to put it. There's so much, if you were to compare what's there, I guess it's a little bit more serious than what's out now, because you want to, like, more to hype you up and, you know, be able to ride out to it and be able to put it in the club. Versus, you know, what was going on before, you know? So you can't really, like, get hyped to, I mean, I guess you could get hyped.
You can't get hyped.
Some, you know, some
the
of that
old
stuff.
Bustin' Rhymes?
Of course. But, like, it's just, it has such a different feel. It was done in such a different way. I don't even know. You're making me think so hard into this. Why do I love you? It just has, I guess it has a little bit more of a romantic feel for hip-hop than what it is now. I feel like like artists are treating hip-hop more of like a whore. You know?
I get
like
that.
a cash cow. So, like, you could feel that integrity into the music.
Yeah. I get what you mean, like,
I guess that's why I have a little bit more love to it.
Yeah,
but can I rock to shit right now? And can I rock to shit and vibe to shit from the 2000s? Hell yeah, I'm pretty sure I fucking shook my ass.
Because that's the thing, like, when we talk about the 2000s, I'm talking about, like, 2000 to, like, 2009. I'm not talking about 2010 or nothing. I mean, 2010, like, despite some artists, you know, that's coming out right now that's not really, you know, where it's at. Because I feel like when the 2010s, I think hip-hop kind of died out around... The last great year really was, like, 2014. 2014-ish, early 2015-ish, and then now it's kind of crazy because even when I look back to 2010, like, you had Nicki Minaj, you know what I'm saying? You had Drake, you know, you had the Kanye one, you know, in his prime. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you don't... Now it's just like it's bits of pieces. With the 90s, you had everybody. 2000s, you only had a little bit of, how you call them, like, mediocre artists. But it was still, like, you still had people all over the place. Like, you still had, you know, Joe Budden. You still had The Game. You know, you still had, Little Flip. Little Flip, to me, is very underrated. You know, he's really, like, one of the best freestylers, you know, in hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? You had Nelly. You know, I feel like Nelly. A lot of people, even Ja Rule, like a lot of people credit Ja Rule with the whole like melody, like cause I started seeing what people start to say like before me, like it's these trees. Mm-hmm. So like Redman, and then his tree you got Eminem, Ludacris, Big Sean. Yeah. And then like in Ja Rule tree you got like a Drake. Who else is like melody? Like they got like that metal that like Quavo. Quavo I can kind of put him in there because Quavo he raps.
Travis Scott in there too.
Yeah. Travis Scott. You know I put him in that group. So it's like when it comes with the different eras, everyone got their opinion. Mm-hmm. But I feel like hip hop would never die because you have the artists, like we said earlier, Kendrick, you know, kind of reminds us of today's pop, you know, with his messages and stuff like that. Even though he's more, Tupac had his different characteristics. Right. But Kendrick is like his own person, but you could tell like he got a lot of influence from pop. You know what I'm saying? Like J. Cole, you know, a lot of people try to compare him to Jay-Z because Jay-Z, you know, helped him out at the beginning, but I see more of a Nas influence than J. Cole because Nas was like, you know, I even noticed, I just noticed that too, like Nas, all his songs didn't have all the greatest beats. Right. But he had the lyrics. And you could just say, like, imagine if, like, he did something with a Pharrell or Dr. Dre, like, on a full album. Like, oh my God. That never happened before, but imagine that happened. Like, Nas, to me...
You just blew my mind. I never thought of that. Yeah. Can you imagine? I could definitely... Oh, man. I could definitely see him.
Like, imagine that, like a Swiss Beats or Just Blaze. Like, think about that.
Just Blaze?
No, but I'm saying like a whole project. Yeah. Because his hits, to me, was like, you know, he had everybody from Little John, from Swiss Beats, from all of them pretty much. Mm-hmm. His hits seen it, but like as an album, it was like I remember Hip Hop Is Dead, great album. Production wise, to me, it was kind of you know, as far as like beats. But the album was great. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, God's Son is, like, my favorite album from Nas. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just... Hip-hop is just, in general now, it's really like a sport. You know, like, back in the days, you know, you had the Bulls... And then you had the Lakers in the 2000s, and now you got, like, the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's just, like, everyone has their season. Right. But, you know, like we said, you know, hip-hop now is kind of, like, crazy because not a lot of people, they don't have the love for it. You know, like, they don't see the longevity in it. They just want it for the money. Exactly. And I think that's what the problem, and I get your point.
You can hear it in the music. Mm-hmm. You can hear it, especially when it's like you're not saying anything and you're just, you know, rhyming each song, and it's like, or not rhyming each song, but rhyming each word, and it's not, there's no, like, what are you talking about? And or if you can't even hear or understand what you're saying, it's like, what are you saying? How are you on the radio? But it's cool. I mean, that's the wave. That's the wave. Me personally, I don't tend to bump to that. I would probably, like you said, some Wu-Tang or some Busta Rhymes, you know, or some Kendrick. Mm-hmm. Anything, you know, any one of my friends, you know, things of that nature versus anything that's, you know, bumping on the radio. Just because it's just so saturated and it just feels like it's like a carbon copy of the next person.
It's copy and paste, like...
Yeah, and it's like, I've heard the same Chris Brown song or that same beat over and over and over and over and over again, and Chris Brown's great. Yeah. I like him as an artist. I think he's a good artist. But it's this one song, I don't even remember, but I know that it's... So many artists have made that song already, and it's the same beat, and it's just a little bit of tweaking, and oops, there's a new song. and there goes 5 million plays in 2 weeks, and it's like, wow.
But don't you think that nowadays, especially like with streaming, you think streaming added that problem to like, for example, like back in the days, an album could last you 2 to 3 years,
right?
To drop different videos, go on tour, things of that nature. Nowadays, people is like they feeling kind of, not everyone, but like the typical rapper right now is just like, I'm gonna drop a mixtape every week, album pretty much albums are like mixtapes nowadays. They dropping them like every week, every 2 weeks.
Currency fucking had a mixtape for every month last year.
But Currency different, dude.
Currency
is like,
he's human.
Yeah, like Currency is like, you could do that for mixtapes. Honestly, I feel like for mixtapes you could do that, but like for albums, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I feel like think about it, like, for example, what's one of your favorite albums of all time? Give me like I guess a top 5, or just not even just a top 5 or 10. Just name a few albums that you love back in the day.
From back in the day?
It could be from the day or from back in the day.
Definitely Thriller.
Thriller, okay, that could be replayable.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? Let's see. Crazy, Sexy, Cool.
Yes, replayable.
That's definitely replayable.
Yes.
The Black Album.
Thank you.
Illmatic,
okay. Black Album, I love, because Black Album to me, personally, that's my favorite Jay-Z album of all time.
Reasonable Doubt for me.
Reasonable, hey.
But I was too young. I actually fell in love with that back in high school. Like, that was already old school for everybody else.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I wasn't feeling the music that was coming out. So what I would do, and I had just come down here from New York, and I didn't like it. So I would skip school and go back to home. And then I would go on Napster and just like start downloading a whole bunch of like hip hop and shit that I didn't know, and like shit that I would remember that would be playing on Hot 97. And I found Reasonable Doubt, and I was like, emoji heart eyes.
That's a classic album, like Jay.
And then from there it just snowballed in like a year. Like I loved like all of these albums and all of this music and stuff like that.
But you don't really get like, okay, we could get like the Kendricks and the J. Cole's and stuff like that, but you don't really get that like nowadays. Like, back in the day, you had like a handful of artists. Like when they came out with albums, like you like shit, you collect like different CDs and things like that. And before the podcast, our stories about different albums is different because one, we actually had the copy,
right?
Like,
you had to go get it.
Yeah, you had to go get it. Like, I remember,
that was a journey in itself.
Yeah, like one of the last albums that was like, like the 2010 is like the Blueprint. No, not the Blueprint. The Pink app. The Pink, was it Pink Friday with Nicki Minaj? I remember I got that for one of my close friends for her birthday, and like when I listened to the album, I ain't gonna lie, I downloaded it, but I'm a DJ. But that album, I was like, I could have bought myself a copy. You get what I'm saying? Like, for me, cause it was like one of them, like I said, like the 2010s, like from 2010 to like 2014ish, 2015ish is like when that was like, all right, these new rappers came out, and it was like one of the last of the golden era of the 90s and the 2000s and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just like, now it's just like, to me, honestly, I feel like it's no true story behind an album unless, like, for me, when I was, like, I just graduated from like an undergrad. Mm-hmm. So like, J. Cole's first album was, even though I didn't get the hard copy, it was still a story behind it, because I remember when I was listening to it, you know, I was at Broward College, you know what I'm saying, feeling myself. I just got my car,
right.
You know what I'm saying, and you know, it reminded me of